Let's quick recap the of day one. Okay, let's revise that one. Okay, first what we discussed in our functions day one, we remember our core concept like what we use what def keyword. Okay, def stands for what define a function to create what reusable block of the code. Okay, when you're using the def keyword, a computer knows you're using what you're defining user defined function. Okay, then we call. Okay, that is called as it's also called as the function we call into the execute this code. We perform that function means you have to call that function name. Okay. And parameters. What are the parameters? The parameter are the placeholder for inputs in the function definition. In when you are defining the function, you have to pass what parameters. Okay. And arguments. What are the arguments or the actual values we pass to the what function when we call it? Okay, we have to use arguments when we call in the function. The parameters always it should be equal to what number of arguments. Okay, when you're passing your what variable names. Okay, example you take an a comma b comma c. You have to mention that value in when you're calling that function. Then only it will execute. Otherwise, you will get a raise a error. Okay. Then we use what return statement. The return statement what sends a value back from the function. Okay, when we this return is nothing but your print statement. You can pass return with what your condition also or what you want to return that you can that print the statement. Okay, and we learned what the four flavors of the function, right? The four flavors are function what or let's see. Okay, by combining what we know about the parameters and return statement, we see that there are some four basic types of your function. Let's look to couple example each one. Okay. Hope you can see now. Okay, let's flavor one. What are the flavor one? That is what the function what with no arguments and no return statement. Okay, this type of function is like what a simple button. When you press it, okay, that it performs what same action every time. It does not need any information from you or it does not give anything to back to you. Okay, this is for a beautiful example for what function with no arguments and no return values. Okay, let's do the example now. I'm using what defining function. What I have to use keyword def. Def after what you have to what function name. That is what show menu. Okay, after that open the parenthesis and close and with what colon. Okay, why I'm using here three double quotes that stand for what command, multiple line command. Okay, that what displays a fixed menu, takes no input or returns no value. Okay, let's see. I'm printing right here. What is that? Print daily menu, print one for coffee, print two for tea, and we send up. Okay, I'm calling the function that is for show menu. Okay, you are always when you are calling the show menu, we'll get what already fixed that value. Or you will get only the menu. Okay, so I'm running this. I'm choosing my kernel and kernel is connected now. You can see here, right? The menu is coffee and tea. And let's again, okay, when I again run, you can see, right? That only printed. And you can take the show menu and you can run in other run also because the show menu is already created, right? So again, I'm running. You can see here, right? Same menu is repeated. This is what function with no arguments and no return statements. Okay. And flavor 2. What is flavor 2? With arguments and no return value. Okay. This function like an announcer. Okay. You give it some information. Okay. And an argument. It uses what? That information to perform an action. Okay. Like making an announcement. It doesn't give a value back to the main program. Like just like your announcer. Announcer what? You give some information, right? That information only the announcement will be announcer. Okay, then only you can get that information, but you not respond any giving any no values. That is called as what with arguments and no return value. Okay, let's see that one. Def read by name. This is for example for your better understanding and passing some parameter. That is what name. Okay, but what takes the name as that input and prints for a greeting. Okay, let's print what I'm using what here f string. Okay, print hello. In place of the name, you can pass your name. Okay, like when you're calling. Okay, that called as what argument. This is what your parameter. Okay, and name and welcome to what event. Okay, I'm calling that function with an argument. That's what greet my name. That is what name I'm passing Charlie. When I call this function, it will print what hello Charlie. Welcome to the event. Like that, it will be print. Okay, this is how it will be work. This is whatever with arguments, but no return. I'm not returning anything. Only I'm giving what argument. Okay, this is the beauty of a function. Okay, let's see the flavor three. Okay, what is the flavor three? The function with no arguments with return value. Okay, this is like your magic dice. Okay, it doesn't need any input from you, but when you call it, it generates what it gives what your value back. Okay, and a great example is getting for your random number or current date. Okay, like when you're throwing your dice, will get what it produce what random value. That what it returning to that value. But you do not give the any value. That is no arguments. Okay, let me take that. I'm importing what one library that is called as what import date time. The import date time what will you do? It will give the random date and time. Okay, also give the date and time also current that one. Okay, and what I'm doing what def get current time. Okay, I'm giving the word on creating one function name. Okay, and here what is will do that this one gets the current time and what returns it as a string. Okay, I'm declaring one new variable that is called as what now. Okay, now is equal to I'm calling this one this library this module. Okay, I'm taking what data time dot data time dot what now. Okay, now okay, when I'm passing this one using the dot operator, okay, I'll get what current time and date. Okay, and return now. I'm taking this variable now dot strft time. Okay, that is stand for your standard time. Okay, and want this is used to what I want in a that format. Which format I want in what hours, minutes, and seconds. This what format the time nicely. These are the methods. When we start with the methods, you get to understand neatly. Okay, just understand the concept now. Okay, and I'm calling the function now and storing it at what output. Okay, I'm creating one variable called as what current time is equal to what I'm calling that one. Okay, when I call this function that get current time, okay, it will return that time, right? Okay, that time will be what store in what current time. Okay, when I'm printing what the time is now, the current time, I'll get what in place of current time, the time is now, that will current time will I'll get. Let's run this. Okay, can see here, right? The time is now what? It will in a 24 hours format. That is what 19:46:23. It's nothing but 7 o'clock 46 minutes 23 seconds. Like that, it will be work. Okay, this is the beauty of what date time module. Okay, this is what better example for your no arguments, only the return value. You can see right when you're calling the function, you're not giving any arguments. Okay, it will only give what return value. What is written here? What your current time and it will be giving. Okay, let's see the last flavor of your user defined function. That is for flavor 4 with arguments and with return value. Here both are mandatory and this function will be used in a random manner and mostly used in your functions. Okay, with arguments and with returns. Okay, this is the most common and powerful type of your function, like a calculator. It's a better example. Okay, when you use your inputs as arguments, it processes for them or according to a what operation it will calculate and gives back you what result. That is nothing but your returns a value that you can see use, right? Okay, I'm using here what an example for your calculate. Okay, that is what I'm calculating here. What area? What area I'm calculating? Area of your rectangle. Okay, I'm creating what def calculate area length into width. Okay, it takes what length and width as the input and returns what we are area. Okay, I have a formula. What is my formula? That what area is equal to what? Length into width. Okay, I'm storing this length into width value in what? Area variable. Okay, I'm returning, I want to return, right? So returning what? Area. Okay, I want to call now. Okay, with the what? Arguments. What are the arguments? According to a parameters. So it what? First should be what? Length, and second should be what? Width. Okay, when I call the function with the arguments, I'm creating one variable that is what? Room area. Because what? I want to store that what? Calculate area, right? So I'm calling that one calculate area. I'm passing some arguments. That is what? 10, comma 5. Okay, when I pass 10, comma 5, it will go to the what? This parameter that is what? 10, and width is what? 5. And it passed to the area. It will calculate that value should be what? Stored in what? Area. Then only return area will be returned. Okay, when I am passing what? Room area, it will calculate it, right? The store in what? Room area. Okay, when I print this one, the area of the room is in place of room area, the value should be what? Replaced. That what area should be what in square feet, right? So I'm running this one. You can see, right? 10 into 5 is what? 50 square feet. Okay. And I'm taking this one like calculate area 10, comma 5, right? You can give any values. Okay. I'm calling again this function. Okay. I will take as 100, and this for what? 50. So on calculate here, you can see it 5,000 square feet. Okay, like that it will be work. Once you declare that function, it will we can use that function repeatedly. Okay, don't need to write this all logics once again. Okay, this is for pretty easy. Once you define the function, you can easily call that function and do your task. Okay. Okay, this is what we studied or what we done from yesterday classes. Okay, let's start a new topic that is what your variable scope. Okay, what is your variable scope? Let's see our tail of your two words. Okay, that is what the scope determines where the variables can be seen, and what are the variables used according to a requirements. Okay, first type of the variable scope is what? Local scope. Local scope is what? Variables created inside a function that is called as what? Local. Okay, and variable when you means variable what is the create inside, what is to be outside means inside the function. Okay, when you created this function, right, after that you are creating one variable, then only declaring the values, that called as what? Local scope. Okay, the global scope means the variables created outside of any function that are global. You can access anytime. Okay, that is called as what? Global scope. Okay, remember local scope is always inside. Global scope is always outside the function. Okay, let's do the one example, then you can easily understand. Okay. Okay, this is the global variable visible everywhere. Okay, so what is that one? Company name is equal to what? Innovate Corporation. Okay, I'm creating this variable with the value. This is where this variable is called as what? Global variable. Okay, after that, I'm defining one function, right? Define print employee batch. Okay, so I'm creating now one variable. That is where after creating that function, I'm creating one variable. That variable called as what? Local scope. Okay, that is what? Employee ID. Okay, after that, I'm giving the value. That is what? E12345. This is a what? Local variable only visible inside the function. Okay, this is what your global variable visible anywhere. That is what? Outside also, inside also. Okay, but should be what? You should be what? Declared outside. Okay, and the function can see the both local and global variables. That can be what? I'm printing what here? Employee ID. Okay, and can accessing that one. Employee ID. That is what you are in place of employee ID will be replaced with what? E12345. And company also. It can be accessing global variable, right? Company name is what? Innovate Corporation. And I print the employee badge, that I'm calling that one this function. What is that function? Print employee badge. Okay, let's run this. Consider employee is what? E1235. Company is what? Innovate Corporation. Okay, now see, let's see what can be the access from the outside. Okay, let's print what? Global variant. That is what your company name is accessibility error. That is what I'm printing that one. Okay, can access that one, right? Company name is accessible Innovate. That is what your Innovate Corporation. Like that. If you want, this is what your employee ID. Okay, that is what you will only exit inside the function only, right? Okay, that is called as what? The local scope. Okay, I'm trying now what I'm printing. Okay, let's do the comment this one. Okay, I'm printing what here print. I'm trying to what access the local variable employee ID. That is what your employee ID. Okay, let's run this. You can see right. I'm getting what your name error. That is what you. This is because of your what employee ID. What your only what you can use inside what local scope. Okay, let's see what if the employee ID is not defined like that. Okay, this is the beauty of your what local scope and global scope. Okay, and let's run this global scope. Global scope always work. You can see here, right? Like that, it will be work. You understand, right? Also, the function when we declare one variable that called as what your global scope. Inside that, when we declare that variable, always called as what local scope. Okay, we can access of always outside the function, outside global variable, we can access from inside also, outside also. But when you declare what local scope, that is what when we call the function only we can accessible that one. That is what you are inside only accessible that one. Okay, and let's see, it's making functions more flexible. Okay, let's call as what you are learn some techniques to make our function call easier and more powerful. Okay, let's take 1 minute. Okay, let's start making functions more flexible. Okay, let's see. Okay, in first one that is called as what your keyword arguments. Let's see keyword arguments. Okay, it's nothing but we are discussing about what types of arguments. Okay, that is what your first should be what keyword argument. What is what you can pass arguments by passing what parameter name. Okay, this is called as your keyword argument. Okay, this is what is the biggest advantage means the order no longer matters. That is what the order when you declare one order, right? That order should be what no longer matters. Okay, you can pass one argument, but what using what your parameter name directly. Okay, I'm using what one beautiful example that is what you are using keyword arguments. Okay, I'm taking one what function that is what your def that is I'm describe person. Okay, I'm passing some parameters that is what your name, age, and profession. Okay, after that should be end with what colon. Okay, I'm printing what print name, age, and years old for work as what profession. In place of here this one what this when we call the function it will be printed. Okay, I'm printing what call the with the traditional positional arguments and order matters. Okay, I'm describing the person. That is what I'm calling function. What is what name is what Sarah and age is what 30 and profession is what doctor. Okay, and when I'm running this, you can see here it calling the traditional positional arguments and order is what Sarah is 30 years old and work as what here doctor. It's returning correctly, right? Okay, and when I'm calling with the arguments, what your keyword arguments, orders does not matter. Okay. Okay, I'm declaring you what describe plus person. Okay, I'm declaring I'm taking a parameter and giving that value. That is what your arguments. Okay, profession. What is the profession? Engineer. Name is what? Pen. And age is what? 45. So you can see here, right? Okay. In here, what? The parameters should be what? When you're passing the directive values, there should be what? Always similar. There should be what? Name, you have to give name only. Age is what? Age only. And profession you what? Doctor only. This is what? Traditional method. Okay, when we using the keyword argument, you can declare with the parameter name, you can declare any no order matter, and you can give your random order only. That can be your you can say it. First I'm giving what professional engineer. Name is what Ben and age is what 45 When I'm calling this one, we can see right, it will declare, it will printing correctly only. Ben is what, 45 years and old and work as what, engineer. Okay, you can see right, the first parameter is what, name, but I'm giving you what, your profession. That is the beauty of your what, keyword arguments. Remember this concept, it will very important. Okay, let's see second type. That is what your default arguments. Okay. Let's see. You can give the parameter that can be a default value. Okay. If an argument for the parameter is not provided when the function is called, okay, it will automatically use what, your default value. Okay. This means what, some arguments are optional only. Okay. This should be a beauty of your default arguments. Let's give the one example and you can easily understand. Okay, I'm taking what your on default set value for your country package. It should be what your come after the non-default what parameters. So I'm taking here what and defining one parameter and function name is what, ship package. Okay, I'm passing some parameters what, item, destination city, country is equal to what, USA. I'm declaring inside the parameter only. Okay, okay. That is what country I'm giving here your value only. I'm directly giving the what value. Value is nothing but your arguments. This arguments is called as what? Default argument. Okay, already declaring, defining, defaultly I'm declaring the values for that variable. Okay, so I'm printing, shipping the item, destination, city, country. When I am running this parameter, always in place of country, I'll get what? USA only. Okay, no need to give the value here. Okay, I'm printing or calling without optional argument to carry your ship package. Okay, a book. Okay, item is what? A book. Destination is what? Chicago. Country, no need to give. Country, it is consistent. That is what? USA. So I'm running this one. Can see right? Shipping a book, Chicago, USA. Okay, that is the beauty of your what? Default argument. Okay, nothing but your default value. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's print. Okay, I'm providing a value for an optional argument. That is what your I'm ship package. I'm passing what item is what a T set and your destination is what London. Okay, and what it will do. I'm in play one country what UK. Okay, and running this one can see right shipping the tea okay to a London and UK in place of what USA what give I come for what UK that is what it will be what override the default value okay when I give the default value is USA okay when you know no need when you giving the argument when you do not mention what your country name but the default you mention what USA so it will take the USA name in place of your country okay if you mention the country name when you're passing some arguments, when you're calling the function, okay, that will be overrated. What default value will be overrated. Okay, remember that one. Okay, this is the beauty of your default argument. Okay, let's see three one. That is the third type of your arguments. That is what arbitrary arguments. Okay, arbitrary arguments. Automation this one using what star. After that, you have to args args keyword you have to use. That is what but star is nothing but hashtag create. Okay, so using the star after that args. Okay, this is the keyword when you have to use what arbitrary argument. Let's see what is the arbitrary arguments. This is for your when you want the function to accept any number of position arguments. You can use what args. Args collects what this arguments into what tuples. This convert what the arguments into what tuple value. Okay, when let's do the sum of the numbers using what your hearts. Okay. Okay. Arsness is the star is nothing but what asterisk. Okay. And tells the Python to collect all the extra positional arguments here. Okay. Let's do that one. Def add all number. I'm using here what star. That is what nothing but your arguments. Okay. I'm using a star. Okay. After that, and pass some what parameter name. That is what numbers. Okay. After that, print the arguments received from the packet into what tuples. That is what your numbers. Okay. And total is equal to 0. That is what initially what the total is what 0. So a number in numbers. Okay, I'm taking what here for loop. That is what I'm declaring the variable to iterate number. Okay, and number in what this numbers. Okay, after that I have to what do the logic right. So when I get the number should be what added to what your total. That is what total plus equal to number. What is plus equal to? That is what total is equal to total plus number. Okay. And returns what? The total. Okay. That is what total value. Okay. When I'm printing what? The sum of 1, 2, 3 is called. I'm calling that function. What that? Add all numbers. I'm passing what? What numbers? That is what you are. 1, comma 2, comma 3. Okay. Let's start. When a print of sum of 10, 20, 20, 40, that is what your odd all numbers with 10, 30, 20, 40, 50, like that. Okay. I'm passing in what value in tuple only. Here also tuple only. So when I am using what star numbers, that is what your arbitrary arguments. Again, you can give the n number of values. That is what inside what that will convert when using this argument. That will convert into what tuple. Can say right the sum of 43 is what 6 and sum of this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 is what 150, like that it will be work. Okay, if you did not use what star, we'll get what errors. Can see right type error. Add element takes only the one positional arguments. You have to give it takes what only for one value only. Okay, but you are given what here 3. If it is saying like that, we will get the errors. Okay, when I using the positional arguments, that is what using the star. Then can right you can give the values in what tuple. Okay, that when you give the values, that will convert into tuple and give the what sum of that numbers. Okay, this is the beauty of what your arbitrary arguments. Okay, remember this method. Okay, next what? Arbitrary keyword arguments is nothing but you have to use what? Double star with the kwargs. That is what your keyword arguments. Okay, when using the double star, we'll understand that one. That is keyword arguments. So what is the keyword arguments? That is nothing but your, it always takes what? Key and value. Nothing but your dictionary. Okay, and this is what when you accept any number of keyword arguments, that is what your kwargs collects what into what? A dictionary. Okay, remember this one star args always is from what into arguments always takes in for what tuple. Okay, covers it always takes for what key was in what type data type, that is what your dictionary. Okay, I'm taking one example, that is what you are using what double star covers, that means what your profile. Okay, let's take one beautiful example. So I'm using one double asterisk. Okay, that is nothing but your star. I'm to taking double star that tells the Python to collect all extra keyword arguments here. Okay, let's take here. I'm defining that one. Build user profile. I want what some parameters, right? So what first name, last name, and other info. So other info I'm giving here what star star. When I'm using the star star, we can do that directly pass right. That means what is key and value you can pass direct in the what when you call in the function. Okay, that is the beauty when I'm using the double star asterisk. The nothing but covers arguments and also what also called as keyword arguments. Okay, let's do that one. That one I'm taking one profile. Okay, profile is equal to what your dictionary. I want in profile right. So initializing that one what empty dictionary. Okay, I'm taking your profile first one, that is what your first nothing but your first name, and profile last is nothing but your last name. Okay, that's it initializing of that one. So I'm printing what other info is back into what your dictionary. Why I'm passing your profile of first is nothing but what you have to when you have to indexing in the using the dictionary, what you have to use what profile of first. You have to first pass your what variable name, then your key and variable name and key. Okay, like that you have to mention. Okay, in place of that key, we'll go for first name and last is last name. Like that, that will be work. Okay, and taking your other info first that for key comma value. This is for your iteration purpose and take declaring the variable in other info dot items. Why I'm using your items method? It will push toward your dictionary. Okay, that is what profile of key is equal to what value. Okay, profile of key is equal to value. Nothing but your profile is what your variable of key is nothing but your in dictionary. Okay, I'm passing some values. Okay, that is return to what your profile. What is where is your profile? Here is your profile. That is what empty dictionary. Okay, when you return this profile, it will be automatically added to your this one profile. Okay, I'm using here what int items. It will push directly your what profile. Okay, I'm taking here what I'm calling that function using what I'm creating one variable to store that one user profile is equal to what build user profile. I'm calling that one. So I'm passing some variable. That is what first name is what Mary. Okay, second name is last name is what Curie, and location is what Paris. Okay, I'm declaring this is what you are. This is what only I declare what first name and last name only. Okay, after that I'm taking what other info using what key and value. What is key is here location and value is what Paris. Then field is what chemistry. Okay, then Nobel prizes that is what two. Like that, I will be mentioning that one. Okay. If your value is yours in the type of string, you have to mention in what should be what enclosed with single quotes or double quotes. Okay. An integer or floating value you can declare directly. Okay. I'm printing what final user profile. I'm printing what here user profile because I am calling what user profile is what you already declared. Okay, user profile. These values should be what store in what user profile. So I'm printing when I print the user profile and get what all info. That is what here you can see right. I'm getting value in type of what data type dictionary. That is what first is what Mary, last is what Curie, and location is what Paris, and field is chemistry, and Nobel Prize is what two. Like that, it will be work. Okay, this is the beauty of what your keyword arguments. That is what nothing but your kwargs. Okay, okay, and last one that is what your quick look that is what lambda function. When you're using the lambda function, you do some optional that is some task in a one sentence only. That is called what? That is the beauty of your lambda function. Okay, this function is what very small. Okay, this is a one line. Okay, this is anonymous function. Okay, that is what you do not give any function here. That is what when you're using the lambda, it will understand that is what anonymous function. That is what your thing for shortcut of your simple function that you no need to what use elsewhere. Okay, let's do what simple lambda function. Here is your lambda function. I'm taking what declining what def and I'm checking what your function ability what is even def. This what using what your function name. Okay, I'm not using your lambda. Let me divide this one, then you can easily understand. Okay, this is what using the what your normal function. That is what def and is even def. I'm declaring what your function name. Okay, I'm passing some parameter. This is what n. Then I'm returning what I have to check what even number, right? So I have to declare when I dividing by two should be what always remainder should be zero. So I'm taking here what lambda. Okay, I'm taking here a lambda function, so that means nothing but you are taking your one modulus to calculate what reminder. So return n modulus 2 is equal to 0. N percentage to what will do? It will give what reminder. So reminder when I get 0 is equal to 0. That number should what even number. Okay, this is what your normal function for even function. So if you want what lambda function. Lambda is nothing but your one line code. Okay, you don't need to mention what we're declaring the function name. Okay, that is it will work for only the some tasks. Okay, I am checking what here is even lambda. Okay, is equal to what I'm defining what lambda. That is when you're using the lambda keyword, that the computer understand that you're using what lambda function. After that, I want to mention what here n, that is what your parameter. And with what next what colon. After the colon, and what I'm passing the condition. What is your condition? N percentage 2 equal to 0. Okay, this is one line is enough to overcome this one. Okay. And when I'm printing what using your normal function. Let's divide this. Okay, when I'm print here, I'm getting what here is even def is not defined. Okay, let's run this one. Because here you only defined, right? I defined here. So running this one, you can see, right? The using the Darwin function is what? On 10 is what? True. Okay. True means nothing but your 10 is what? Your even number. Okay, when I can change your number 10 to what? 9. Okay, let's done this. I'm getting false. Because 9 is what? Odd number. Like that it will be work. Let's run this. Okay. You can see. Okay, let's do for your lambda function. Can see, right? Using lambda function also, it will be working. This is pretty easy of your lambda function. It will work for only some tasks. Okay, you can directly use the line. You can directly, without defining any function, you can declare in one line. So you can get what that statement. Okay, and you can use this as some more examples. Okay, you can see, right, print using what lambda function of c. I'm checking 7. 7 is what odd number. Let's check. I'm getting what false. So 7 is what odd number. That's why I'm getting what false. Okay, and this is about your lambda function. Okay, let's stop here and continue next class.